Hey, and welcome everybody to the Top Producer Friday class. I am Paul Baxter, Implementation Coach for the Mortgage Mastermind Group, and I am definitely here to help you grow. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Friday afternoon. I know I certainly am. Hopefully that weather's starting to warm up a little bit for you from what I see. This blast of cold is going to dissipate, and we'll all get a little bit of a break from it towards the beginning part of the week. But it's been a fantastic week. Everybody that's been joining us all week long on the classes, as you know, we've been focused on personal branding, looking at our brands in a different light, in a new way, not just a logo, not just a picture and an image, but what our brand actually means and how a brand can develop a relationship and how a brand develops trust and shows you as an expert. And you know, truly what a brand brings to the table. And so with those strategies and those theories that we've been talking about over the last couple of days, today we're going to actually put that into practice. We're going to take some steps and go through an activity or an exercise that it's going to give you the ability to really create your brand and what I like to call your brand promise. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive right in here, and we're going to build your brand from scratch. It's an exercise in defining you. Okay? Define yourself. What makes you different? So as we learned over the past week, that a brand equals a promise delivered. And a brand is not a logo or an image. It is the feeling that people get when they think of or see your message, when they see your video, when they get your email in. How do they feel? What feeling does that create with people when they hear your brand promise? Sandra Verrecchia of Satori Leadership defines branding as a personal brand is a perception or emotion maintained by somebody other than yourself that describes the total experience of having a relationship with you. And that made such sense to me, and it really supports what we've been talking about this whole week. And so I wanted to kind of share that quote with you because it really does define what we've been talking about this whole week. A personal brand is a perception or an emotion. And that perception or emotion is maintained by somebody other than yourself. That's not a perception or an emotion that you can feel for them. They have to feel that. And that perception or emotion describes the total experience of their relationship with you. And that can be good or bad, but it really does support what we've been talking about, that the brand is a feeling, not a logo or a picture, right? So when you boil it down, everybody in the entire world has a brand. Everybody. You already have a brand. Whether you know it or not, whether you've been working on it or not, everybody has a brand. Your personal brands are a reflection of who you are and what you believe in. That's your personal brand, is everything that you do. We talked about that, is that your personal brand is who you are as a person, all of which are visibly expressed by what you do and how you do it. It is the doing part that connects with someone else. And when you get that connection, that's when that relationship is formed. When your brand, when your personality, when who you are connects with someone else based on who they are, and they see you as somebody that is like-minded or somebody that they trust or somebody that they see as an expert or somebody that they see as an authority, that connection is the relationship. And that's what branding truly is all about. So, you know, think about it in terms of a personal branding. Most celebrities these days don't think of themselves when you ask them, you know, how are you marketing it? Well, I'm more of a brand these days. And Madonna's a great example of that. Describe Madonna. Those descriptions are her brand. She's innovative, she's a singer, she's influential, she's inspiring. Guys, she's sexual. You know, that's something that you think of when you think of Madonna. She's a dancer, a composer, an actor, and a mother. You know, I always get that image of someone that pushes the envelope and has something more than just regular confidence. She has what I like to, you know, that image I get or the feeling I get when I think of Madonna is she's got guts, you know, willing to do anything. And that's a brand. That's what branding actually is. So whose personal brand would this be if I make some descriptive words? Who would you think of when I give this descriptive brand? She is the woman behind the man. She's family first. She's well-spoken. She's a lawyer. She's smart. She's a fashion leader, yet very conservative. Who do you think of when I give those descriptive words? And to me, that's Michelle Obama. You know, that's how I think of Michelle Obama. I think of her in terms of her brand. She's the woman behind the man. She's she's family first. She's well-spoken, a lawyer. You know, some other things, if I wanted to go on and on, she, concerned about American education, a proponent for healthy eating and healthy living. Those are some other things that remind me or help me to brand. And it's not I'm not getting political here with you guys. I'm just saying that's how a brand can help you think of somebody, because it elicits a feeling. A strong personal brand is built on knowing your values and what you believe in and committing to living up to those values. So to have a good personal brand, you've got to know what it is that's valuable to you, not only business-wise, but on a personal level, and you've got to believe in them, in those values, what's important to you. You've got to believe in that stuff, and you've got to be committed to living up to those values and standards. Being able to name your values and stay true to your value system is what makes you both an individual, and it also gives you your authenticity. That's, we talk about it all the time. How does a brand become successful? By its differentiation. How does it differentiate? What is unique about that brand within its marketplace? Your ability to focus on what your value system is, the things that are important to you, that's your uniqueness. It's not that you've got a better interest rate than the guy down the road. That's not your uniqueness. That's not what makes you authentic or an individual. It's your brand. It's your value system that does that. So we're going to start by creating what we call a brand map. And that's focused, that brand map is focused on what are your values, what are you interested in, what are you good at, what do you really like to do, who are you, and what's important to you. And when you start to create your brand map, it's really, you want to start with just a big circle. So everybody take your pen and paper. Remember, on today's invitation I mentioned you're going to need a pen and paper for today's class. So take your pen and paper real quick and draw a big giant circle on your paper. Cover the whole page because you're going to need it. You need a pretty big circle. And now this is your personal brand map. So the first thing you need to do is write down smack dab in the middle of your personal brand map, who is this map for? So write your name down right in the middle of it. And then throughout the circle, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter how close to your name, it doesn't matter how far from your name. All that matters is that it is included in the circle. Included inside the circle, you want to start writing down the things. Again, what are your values? What are you interested in? What are you good at? What do you really like to do? Who are you, and what is most important to you? So you're going to start putting down your values. Your family. Are you good? You're a husband, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a father. Do you love God? Are you a religious person? Is your faith something that's important to you? What do you like to do? What's fun for you? What are what are you really, really, really good at? Are you an expert in anything? Put down your expertise. How do people describe you? If you asked your best friend, if you were to stop right here today, call up your best friend and say, hey, can you do me a favor? Give me like 4 words how would you describe me? Give me 4 words that you would describe me to somebody else. Your best friends are going to be brutally honest with you, but they're going to give you some insight into who you are, because sometimes our friends and our family know us better than we know our own selves. But you're going to put down the things that you like. I love to eat food. I'm a big fan of cooking and eating wonderful foods. Oops, I went the wrong direction. I'm a marketing expert. I know a lot of things about helping real estate agents market their business. I'm an expert on FHA 203K loans. I can tell you all about the full and the streamline. I'm a dog lover. I absolutely, I love dogs and pets. That is my deal. Not so much a cat lover. Like to tell jokes and make people laugh when it comes time to it. That is one of the things that I strive to do every day in my life, is make people smile and laugh. I go about life with that aspect. I'm clean cut. I like to keep my face hair short and keep my hair short. Well, that's not really true about me. Sometimes I like to grow a big fluffy beard. But you're kind of, what I'm doing is brain dumping here, just all the things that are important to me, all my personality traits, all the things that I value. By focusing on being good at a few key things, I'm able to have a specialty, and that specialty is part of my brand. Maybe it's I'm a mortgage expert. That's my specialty, and I'm focused on that in my branding. So the next step, once you've kind of, and you're going to take longer to do this, guys. This is a minuscule list for the sake of moving forward. I didn't want to bore you with all my details. This is a minuscule list for the sake of moving forward on today's class. You're going to dump everything. Every single thing that's of value to you, that's important to you. You love walking your dog in the evening. I absolutely love the color orange. It's my favorite color. I love the color orange. I absolutely love the smell of fresh cut grass in the summer. I absolutely can't stand how it feels in the wintertime when the wind's blowing on me. Those are all, every single thing, all the things that are important to you, all the things that are part of who you are, personality, business, all of it. You've got to include them on there. And then you're going to, as you focus in on the things that you specialize in, you're going to look back at your brand map and think about which ones of those things, of those defining terms you listed, really, really stick out to you. For me, fisherman, that's the first thing that pops into my mind. That's my mindset. Second thing that pops into my mind, a people person. So those are some of my core values. Those are some of the really important things that pop out to me. It could be what you do for a living. It could be some of the adjectives that describe you and who you are. Or it could be issues that you're passionate about. Maybe you're a big fan of the Save the Whales program. If you're passionate about that and that's the thing that sticks out to you, that's part of your core values. But again, as we said, figuring out, knowing what your core values are, allow you to be able to deliver or define your brand and your brand promise. So once you've focused on your core values, you're going to use them to create that brand promise. And remember, we defined a brand as a promise delivered. We talked about the things that are important for a mortgage lender to define that brand. We talked about being an expert, being trusted, being available. Those are some of the core things. Those are the things that are important to make sure that are part of your brand. So as you go through and you're looking at your core values and developing your brand promise, you want to make sure that your brand promise is short and to the point. You want to make sure that it is active and action-oriented as opposed to passive. You want to show them that you're taking action based on your values, or the most prominent values, if you've chosen more than one, and your personality. It should be something that you are constantly working towards, your brand promise. You should also always be striving towards that. It can also be referred to as your mission statement. And it can be used as a measuring tool for gauging whether or not you're successful in what you're trying to accomplish in your business, in your mortgage business specifically. So your brand promise is something that you aspire to be. And it is fundamentally who you are. That's what a brand promise actually is who do you aspire to be? Who is it that Paul Baxter wants to be? What do I want to be known as? When people meet other people and they say, hey, you got to talk to my guy Paul, he's known for. That's what I want to aspire to be. That's what's fundamentally you. So that's what your brand promise has to encompass. That's why it's so important, and I'm going to go back here just a minute. It's so important to go through this process first and foremost. the first thing you do. Just go through this process, and you must map out the things that are valuable to you, not only in your business. And that's a big mistake that a lot of you may make, is that you map down, okay, what's important to me? More clients, satisfied clients, closed deals, closing on time, having good lock rate dates, making sure that, good documents coming in. Okay, that's all your business stuff. That's great that that's valuable to you in your business, but what's valuable to you as a person? Because remember, your brand is the way you make people feel. You've got to map out all the things that are core values to you, because when you get to this part of the exercise, after you've circled and you've gone through and you've looked and listed the things that really popped out at you, what are left with those things? Is it all business-oriented things? Or what I think you're going to find, and if you do this exercise of mapping out all the things that are important to you, everything business and personal, I think what you're going to end up with is a combination of things that are core values that have to do with what you do for a living, and things that describe you and issues you're passionate about, or major interests in your life. And so when you get to writing down your short, to the point, active, action-oriented brand promise, it's going to be a little bit easier for you. It's going to be a little bit easier for you to come up with that mission statement. But again, the key element to it is making sure that you've done the legwork beforehand, making sure that you've gone in and you've put all those core values down, those things that are important to you. And I can't do this part for you. I can lead you along the way. I can show you that it's not just about being a mortgage expert or a marketing expert or an FHA 203K expert, but it's also about being, it's also about my faith. It's also about my, that my love of fishing, or that I love my dogs, or about how, how I am as a father. That's all part of my brand, right? And so I can't express to you how important that part of it is. And I'm not going to tell you to be brutally honest with yourselves about it, because being brutally honest, all you're doing is mapping out the things that are important to you. It's just jotting down the ideas that pop in your head. What's fun? Well, I really like to eat chocolate chip cookies at night. That's one of my favorite things in the whole world, is sitting on the couch at the end of a long day with my feet up on the couch and having a little belly full of chocolate chip cookies with some milk. It's one of my favorite things. Why would that not be included in my core values? It has to be, because it's not the thing that pops out at me, but that's part of who I am and what I do. Yeah, James, with the No Quitting campaign, there has been a lot more of those cookie moments than there used to be, because I'm not smoking any longer, and you hit the nail on the head, my friend. It has absolutely made me fat. Yes, sir, it does. All right, so once you get through that part, you've done that. You've mapped out exactly what your values are. You've gone through there and you've pulled the things that pop out to you. You're going to begin to create your brand promise. And again, your brand promise is something that you aspire to be and is fundamental to you. It is both those things. Remember that your brand is a relationship. It is a promise is not to be taken lightly. And I'll be honest with you, it may take you some time to get this exactly right, or to develop your brand promise to where you're exactly happy with it. You may go through a couple of versions before you get to your final brand promise. And that's what this exercise is all about. James asked a great question. How can you convey all your values to realtors that you have not met yet? And that's what this exercise is meant to do, is to give you this brand promise that is going to allow you to convey the best amount of message in the shortest amount of time, or in the least amount of time, or in the easiest fashion, in the most effective way. And again, it's something that's not to be taken lightly. Again, there's no magic here. Getting it exactly right will take focus and self-honesty. Getting it exactly right is going to take time and putting it together and asking opinions of friends and asking opinions of coaches and mentors. And so the exercise works like this. Once you've gone through, let me show you one more time. Once you've gone through and you've mapped out all of your core values, you've gone through and you've circled and highlighted the ones that really pop out to you, remembering that your brand is a relationship, the next part is you're going to come up with 5 to 8 words developed from your values and personality on your brand map. So again, you've got 5 to 8 words that you've kind of, not 5 to 8 words that you've circled, but your brand promise is about 5 to 8 words, and it's derived or developed from your values and personality on your brand map. These 5 to 8 words are going to have deep meaning to you personally. They're going to mean something. You've got to have a feeling when you say them. This brand promise is going to help you define your decisions and actions to have a meaningful impact on someone else, not you. It's meant, not only is it going to be deeply meaningful to you, but it's going to help you to define the actions that you take to be helpful to others. And this is your commitment to how you are to be for others, right? So what I recommend that you do is start writing down some ideas and elicit the feelings from them. And I've got a couple examples for you here. This class is going to be called Branding and Exercise. Branding Exercise, I believe, is what we're going to call this class. So a couple of examples: smart ideas put into actions. So the core values from that would be, I'm smart, I like to think outside the box, I'm action-oriented, this person values movement and change. That's a big value to them, is moving, constantly being on the go, let's keep moving, implementation and change. And this person has a keen insight into personal self-worth because they're stating that they believe in themselves, that they've got smart ideas and that they are putting them into action. And so that's a great promise statement or brand promise. Another good one would be the insight to guide, the compassion to inspire. For somebody like Alan Gross and Peggy, and I know a lot of you guys on here that like to do a lot of face-to-face sit-down meetings. I know Alan specifically, he's passionate about teaching agents. He's passionate about sharing the ideas that he's come up with for marketing. He calls it his appreciation marketing campaigns. And now he's doing the whole thing with the mobile voice routing. He's compassionate about sharing these marketing ideas and his expertise with local real estate agents. So this would be a great brand promise for somebody like Alan that's doing a lot of teaching: the insight to guide, the compassion to inspire. What that elicits is, somebody, I get that mental image or that feeling of somebody that's a mentor, somebody that is compassionate towards others. They want to make sure that others have every opportunity that they have themselves. This is somebody that's insightful. They have the insight to guide. They're always learning. They value sharing, probably, and teaching more than anything else. And this is a person that lives to help others with their business. That's what that statement elicits. Those are the kind of feelings and emotions that a statement like that elicits. Is everybody kind of starting to see the picture now of how you're going to develop your brand promise? So these things are taken, smart. Thinks outside the box, action-oriented, values, movement and change, keen insight into personal self-worth. Those are all the things that are derived from someone's value map, from someone's brand map, and just jotting down that idea. As that person put down, I'm smart. I love change. Change is fun for me. Not a fan of sitting still. That's not a value for me. So I don't value that, but I do value change. That's something good. So see how it kind of ties together with our core values and our smart ideas, or our statement? It's just a few words that support what we've circled or what we've highlighted as being the things that pop out to us, what's valuable to us. The inside to guide, the compassion to inspire. That person's a mentor. They're compassionate. They're insightful. They value sharing. They live to help others. Here's one that, for a loan officer delivering, I was kind of thinking about, what would some of the core values, if I'm a loan officer, and keeping my own personal values, but then my professional values would be more in tune with you guys as a loan officer. I started thinking about, well, what would some of those things be? What would some of those values be? And so I came up with an example that would be, obviously this example is more in tune with me specifically in the position that my current, real me, whereas I'm trying to think of, if I were a mortgage lender, what would I want my brand promise to kind of look like? And so I came up with expert information delivered with a smile. To me, that speaks to both realtor partners or potential realtor partners as well as consumers, right? I want to kind of paint that picture. I'm looking to elicit a feeling or create a relationship through a feeling that they get when they see my brand. So expert information delivered with a smile, that's not specific to consumers or agents, but it could be for both. And what that speaks to is a person that's knowledgeable or is an expert in the information that I may happen to be looking for. This person values sharing and education. That's, lives to help others. I didn't include that because it was already in the other one. That same kind of feeling. They value sharing and educating other people. A reliable communicator. Delivered, expert information delivered. That word delivered gives you that feeling of reliability, that you're going to deliver on your promise to give them that information. That information is delivered. That's a reliable communication indicator. And provide a happy experience. Like I said, I'm a people person. I'm funny. I'm a smile guy. Love to provide that happy experience. That's that, delivered with a smile. You're going to feel good about the experience with me. You're going to feel good about the information I'm going to provide you. And so that's the exercise, guys and girls. That's what you're here to do today, is to go through this exercise and come up with your own example. And you're going to need to come up with 2 or 3 or 4 examples and try different ones out. And call your closest friends and say, hey, I'm coming up with a brand promise, and I need you to listen for a minute and tell me what feelings you get. No, just tell me what feelings you get when you hear me say this. And deliver them a couple of brand promises that you think support you, that support your core values, that speak to who you are both professionally and personally. Notice this sounds very professionally, right? Expert information delivered with a smile. That's almost like a business-like tagline. But it speaks to my personality on a personal level greatly. It speaks to who I am and how much I love to share and my passion for educating. That's a personal thing. That's who I am personally. Delivered with a smile. Speaks to who I am personally, that I'm a happy-go-lucky, friendly sort of character. Love to make people smile. Fun. Elicits a happy feeling. An upbeat, excited feeling. And so that's what I want you guys to do, is to go through, first and foremost, make your circle. Put your name in the middle of it, and then around that, write down every single thing that you can think of that you value. Every single little thing that you can possibly think of that is valuable to you. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no, if getting a pedicure every Saturday is something that you value, put it on your value sheet. Why not? Why not? That's a direct expression of your action taking. I get it. That's a personal thing that you like to do, but that value is one that you like to make yourself feel good. You're one about taking action to make yourself feel good. Nothing wrong with that. That's a core value. Put it down. And then once you've got that down, sit there and stare and look at your core values. Look at the things that pop out to you. What are the first things that your eyes are gravitated to? Circle them. Think about the feeling that you get when you think about those core values. When you think about the fact that you're a mortgage expert, what does that make you feel like? First thing pops in my head, expert in what? FHA? First-time buyers? Are you an expert in refinancing? Are you an expert in all mortgages? Think about those small things and get those ideas that are flowing. Expert information. On what? Mortgage expert or marketing expert? Both, doggone it, both. Those are things that pop out to me. I said expert 3 different times. I consider myself an expert, so therefore, expert information, because in my core values, the things that pop out to me, as I just sit here and look at it, the very first thing that pops out to me is family. You know, I'm a father, I'm a husband. I'm a father, I'm a husband. Next thing that pops out, I'm a marketer. People person. Funny. You know, foodie, okay. I like to eat food, but that's not popping out at me. So maybe that's not such a core value other than, you know, it is, but it's not popping out at me. So those are some of the things. So go through that exercise and write down the things that are important to you and jot them out. And then start coming up with little example ideas. Again, 5 to 8 words. And you're going to develop those from the feelings that you get based on your core values. It's going to have deep personal meaning to you, and that it's going to help you define what actions you're going to take in terms of the meaningful impact you create with others. Run it by your friends. I can't tell you how important that step is. Run it by your friends and find out what kind of feelings your brand promise elicits with them, because that's going to help you refine and define your brand promise. Guys, do not shortcut this exercise. Your ability to define your values to create your brand promise is every bit as important as who you show your brand to. Your targets must be able to relate to you and relate to what you're saying in your brand promise. We talked at length about targeting the other day and making sure that you're focused on the right people, the people who are going to be more in tune with what you're saying in your brand. And so if you go through the exercise the right way and really focus in and narrow in and hone in on your core values, you're going to come out of the other end of the exercise with a true definition of what defines your values, and coming up with words that fit with that, like expert information delivered with a smile to tell the story that I'm knowledgeable, I value sharing and education, I'm a reliable communicator, and I provide a happy experience. That will come to you if you go through and define your values, because those values are going to you'll start to recognize that there's words that make you think of that value in your own mind. That's how you're going to develop that story. And if you can develop that story knowing that it's about the relationship, when you begin to target the right people, your message will be delivered better and your brand will grow in a way that you didn't think possible. And I know short and sweet today, guys, but that is all we've got today. I wanted to make sure you had plenty of time to you know, you've got a half an hour today before you've got any of you would have scheduled anything else going on today. So take the time, sit down and go through this exercise. Write down your values. If anybody's got questions right now, I am wide open for Q&A though as well. So I am glad to answer any questions you've got about today. When you save this video on MMG website, what are you going to name it? Let me just double check that, because I named it something already when I saved this. So let me go to File, Save As. What did I name this? I named it Branding Promise Exercise. Okay, so it's Branding Promise Exercise is what the name of this class will be, James. And it's going to, remember, this class is going to be under the top producer classes, the top producer archive classes. So it won't be in the daily mastermind. It's going to be on the top producer class archive. And it will be called Branding Promise Exercise. And again, I highly recommend that you guys go through it and you know, seriously sit down, think about the words that elicit feelings to you. What are the things that, how do you value yourself? Define your values first and foremost, both professionally and personally. Focus in on those values that really stand out in your mind, the ones that are your real core, the deep into your, you know, in your heart of hearts, those deep core values. And then from there, based on the formula, you know, 5 to 8 words, short and sweet, with the fact that brand is relationship in mind, start to put together words that elicit, you know, little catchphrases and words combinations that elicit the feelings that you get from your core values. That's going to create your brand promise. And if you remember correctly, a brand equals a promise delivered. That's how you brand yourself. That's how branding works. That's how Madonna can be known. You know, that's how Madonna can be somebody that at, I don't even know, what is she, 57 years old now? 56, 57 years old now, can release an album and 16, 18, 20-somethings go crazy for it, and they're playing it at clubs still today. That happens from branding. It's not because she put out a great new musical sound. Her stuff sounds like crap these days if you listen to it. It's not good anymore. Her music is not great any longer. But she has branded herself as somebody that is an icon in that industry, an icon in fashion. You know, a woman that is well in her means to go well outside the envelope. A woman that has guts. And people are attracted to that. People are attracted to somebody that believes in their own brand, and she certainly does. And that's what coming up with a brand promise is going to do for you, is give you the ability to believe in your own brand and deliver it effectively. How many of you guys, some of you guys know a gentleman, he's a well-known lender. He's got he was able to brand his, and you know, I'll just say, a good friend of mine, Brian Heckman, every single video that he does, he brands his promise, he delivers his brand promise. Ideas, information, mortgages. And just those 3 words elicit feelings in people. They didn't in the beginning, but now they do. They elicit feelings in. He's innovative. He's always got ideas, and he's willing to share them. He's a sharing, love. That's part of his core values. Information. He is very knowledgeable, expertise. That's what the feeling I get. And mortgages. Man, does that guy know how to get a mortgage closed. That's the feeling. And so that's what a brand promise can bring to the table. I don't know that it was intentional, but over a period of time of marketing that way and delivering on that promise, it's become a brand promise. And so that's what creating a brand promise can do for you guys. I hope you get a little bit of something out of today's class. I hope that you will sit down and take a few minutes to really sit down and go through the exercise and write down your core values and, you know, find out which ones are really, really those deep core values and create your brand promise from it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And yes, James, I do believe Madonna is like 70. She's definitely up there. Guys and girls, have a great rest of your day and a great weekend, and I'll see you right back here, same time, same channel on Monday. My wife is doing fantastic, James. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that, my friend. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see y'all later.